So, shooters and reloaders out there, Fortune Cookie 45 LLC coming to you for the hot lead zone, and we're going to use those new Eastwood powders and do a test on them for you. And this is what they're competing against. Look at those nice raw cast bullets. Thanks to that PID controller from Johnny's Reloading Bench, all the cast bullets came out looking like that. Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to powder coat these. They better come out looking something like this. We don't want them to come out looking worse. Well, we got a request here from Carl Radford, and he wants to see us do the Eastwood bright pink first. So Carl, this is for you. Let's go ahead and start the bright pink. Actually, we've only been tumbling for 2 minutes, and you see the bullets are coated. Tumbling for longer isn't going to get them coated better than this. So I think only 2 minutes is necessary. We'll turn it off. So you see, I went ahead and took about 4 or 5 minutes to put these bullets on their bases because I want to give this bright pink a real good chance to show its stuff. And it would be an injustice to take those beautiful raw cast bullets and do a bad powder coat job on them. So here we go. We'll put these in the oven. And so Carl Radford, there you see the bullets are on their bases, and we have about a half dozen of them lying on their side to do a test on whether the bullets lying on their side on this silicone mat makes any difference in the final product. Now notice if you put the tray on some kind of pedestal so that you've got stable, but it's easy to grab this tray without tipping those bullets over, and having good access to the edges of the tray makes that easier to do. Well, here are the hot pink bullets right out of the oven. Let's go ahead and shake them off of this silicone mat onto the bare concrete floor, and none of them are stuck together. So Carl Radford, there you go. These are the pink, and they're beautiful. The bases have some discoloration caused by contact with the silicone mat. And that one that's 3 from the right has the little glitch on the side caused by lying down onto the silicone mat. But again, once we size these bullets, it'll take care of most of that. So I would deem this a success. It's a glossy, bright pink. You gotta admit, that is a nice powder coated bullet. Notice how the detail in all the grooves comes out perfectly. Sure, we got some stuff on from previous powder coats on that silicone mat, but that's not a problem. And this bullet is really hard. You can't even get a purchase on that corner with a fingernail. It's got to be at least BHN 22. It's the bright pink hot coat. Well, next, let's give this Eastwood bird yellow hot coat powder a try. We'll do it the same way by standing the bullets on their bases. So look at the way the powder really circulates in there. And if you look real closely, you'll see the bullets are spinning. And it doesn't take any more than, say, 2 or 3 minutes. If you want to go 4, that's fine, but there's no need to vibrate these things for 20 minutes. This powder coats real well. The bird yellow looks like a winner. But let's hold back on the accolades until we get it out of the oven. Well, the problem with the bird yellow is that even though it looked like it covered pretty well, as soon as you put it into the basket, and shook the excess powder off. Anything that touched the bullet at all caused a loss of the powder in that spot. And then when you put it in the oven, the powder would not flow and melt together to make up for all those little spots that you touched it. Whether it would be with the tongs or contact with a wire basket, or whether the bullet fell over while you were putting it on its base, this kind of thing. Notice the one on the left has a little scratch there from the tongs, so that when you baked this, the powder didn't flow out and cover those areas up. Now if I did a second coat, it probably would make up for all that, but we shouldn't have to do that. Now I might go ahead and do that just because it's got to have a chance to show its stuff. So I'll go ahead and do that with this batch just to see and give it a chance. Well, there's the 2 coats of bird yellow, and you see that the detail of the bullets is still there, so the 2 coats makes it acceptable. But the problem is we don't want to do 2 coats. And look at this. We got one bright pink bullet there that happened to be still submerged in the pile of powder coat that was on the aluminum foil that I was using to catch it all. So that gave me a chance to include this one powder coated bright pink with the 2 coats of the bird yellow. And you see the 1 coat of the bright pink is superior than 2 coats of the bright yellow. So I would heartily endorse the bright pink, but the bird yellow is not to be recommended unless you want to have the yellow and do 2 coats. There, give you a different angle on it. Now notice that the bright pink has a little fin there caused by standing on its base, but again, have no fear, once we size that bullet, that fin will be gone. The bird yellow doesn't have a gloss when you do the 2 coats. The bird yellow is not recommended. Well, next let's go ahead and use the Eastwood Pastel Blue hot coat. And again, we're going to go ahead and do the bullets on their bases. We'll skip the vibrating and the oven and go right to the final out of the oven product. I went ahead and stood these on their bases, and you see how nice that coating is. They're perfect, including a couple of the rifle bullets that were also in the mix of these other pistol bullets. So the pastel blue seemed to work as well as our good Eastwood Ford light blue, which is a can't miss powder. So this seemed to be so good, I decided to go ahead and use the basket. So I decided to go ahead and use our rifle bullets in the basket with the Eastwood Pastel Blue. After getting the bullets coated with powder in our vibratory tumbler, the bullets will shaken in the basket and then go right into the oven. And here's what happened. So now we're using the Eastwood Pastel Blue. And notice how the action there with the powder going in that vibrating tumbler is really getting them coated nicely. Now notice the first run of our pastel blue, the powder coat really is nicely covering, but everywhere where the bullets touched each other, and we did it in the basket, caused a compromise of the powder coat. So these will still size and shoot fine, but they're not exactly the nice finish that we would like, and it's all because of using the basket. Notice that bullet right there in the center. That's a nice powder coat. It covers well. Pastel blue is a good powder coat for us, but we gotta figure out a better way to get the basket to work with it. The problem is these long rifle bullets. if this were done with the pistol bullets, we wouldn't have this kind of problem. So we just took these 240 grain Lee 429 round nose bullets that we cast yesterday and went ahead and vibrated them for 20 minutes in the Eastwood white. That's the gloss white. And it looks like we got pretty good coverage, so let's go ahead and put these in the oven. So you see, there are the bullets after we've shaken out the excess powder. There they go in, and we'll set it for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. So here are the bullets taken right out of the oven, and they're air cooling right now. And there you see the ones that were stood up and the two that were on their side. We'll see how these are once they cool off a little bit. I'm sorry to report that the Eastwood white, the gloss white, doesn't do exactly what we want. It's got the same kind of blotchy look that the Harbor Freight white has. And with our rifle bullets, you see that the Eastwood gloss white doesn't cover well because everywhere the bullets touched each other causes a compromise to the powder coat. So the problem with the Eastwood gloss white is the same as with the bird yellow. You gotta do 2 coats to get a good decent result. So Carl Radford and all the rest of the powder coaters out there, the newer Eastwood powders like the bright pink or pastel blue, are good because they cover well with 1 coat. However, the newer powders like the bird yellow or the Eastwood gloss white, you gotta do 2 coats. So I don't recommend these. It's not efficient use of our time. Take care out there, and we'll see you next video. Bye for now.